Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all you netball lovers, welcome to the Netball South Africa Podcast. I am Karab Mokhalakhaidi, and we're back. It's 2025 and a prosperous new year to you. Compliments, and I just would like to wish you all the success looking at the year ahead. A special guest that we have today, she is the most decorated player we have had in the history of netball, looking at the Spa Proteas. She is a household name. She's one of those players when you think netball or the Spa Proteas, you definitely see her face. And she is a former Spa Proteas captain. She is a netball manager as well as coach right now. And I am talking about Bongi Msomi. Bongi, welcome to the Netball South Africa Podcast.
That's a welcome and a half. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Like, it's difficult to introduce someone like you because your list of achievements, girl.
Can't complain.
Yeah,
Being blessed. I am blessed.
I think so too. And I think you're one of those players where I just feel this was planned. You know, it was written down and you just followed in that path as planned. Do you feel the same way?
Oh, I definitely do. I think, firstly, to probably say, I guess, to all the netball fans, netball family, great season ahead, compliments of the new year. But yeah, I'm really pleased to sit here and actually be able to talk of who Bongi is, who Bongi was, and, the journey ahead. But also, the fact that you're actually talking about it feels like my life, guess, was kind of planned, definitely planned in heaven. God knew exactly what he was doing by creating Bongi. I honestly believe that, but I also believe that the journey I've had so far, oh, geez, he's got me. You know, when someone says, I've got your back, I feel like he really does. But he also given me really good people around me who can support me, guide me all the way from when I was still a player to now where I am in my life in terms of being a netball manager at UJ and also coaching. I'm actually enjoying it. So yeah, quite grateful.
Yeah. You know, there's people, when I talk to them, they started their netball journey very young, at the age of 6, at the age of 7. They were just interested in the sport. But it's a different story for you because you started, one can say, a bit late at the age of 16.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like you said, if your life is planned a certain way, it's planned that way. So I think somehow it was a blessing in disguise for me to actually start at 16. When I started playing netball, my journey never stopped. I don't remember myself missing any training camps or any competition. And if I think about it, imagine if I started at 8, then having to play so much netball is going to be probably a mission. But yeah, I'm really just grateful that when it started, it really never stopped. Been blessed from day one. Like I said, I've had so many people supporting me all the way. And I think I don't really say, much about being humble and actually having so much respect, I guess, for people in front of you, what it does for you. And I want to think that for me, that has actually paved a beautiful journey that I've had so far, and a journey that I'm still going to have to really just work with people in a way that they can have respect for me, but I can also have respect for them. So starting late didn't really matter. And I was very quite passionate, really worked hard. People say do work hard, and it sounds like it's just too broad. You have to work hard behind the scenes, in front of your teammates, in front of your coaches, wherever you are. And the way you carry yourself, I think, also helps as well. So at 16 years old, if I think about myself back then, I don't even know what can I think of, what do I even remember. But yes, if I think of the Spa Proteas time, from 2011, joining the side to 2023, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how blessed I've been. It's just changed completely who Bongi was from Hammersdale growing up to the Bongi I am today. The confident Bongi, the Bongi who knows, what you want to achieve, who has plans in place, but who really want to give back to people as well. I think that drive for me is still something that makes me even more excited about our sport and what it does, not just for me, but for the people out there.
You talk about humility, being humble all the way. Could it also be, growing up in Hammersdale, but also your dad being a community leader?
I think definitely. I think growing up, we always laugh about this at home that we couldn't even laugh much with my dad. I got scared of him. You would actually have to, I guess, think twice of what you want to say, think twice of what you want to do. But I think that did so much in terms of paving me, in a sense, because you always have this person that you're fearing. Like you don't want to fear the person to an extent, but you always have to have this person that you respect so much that you don't want to disappoint, firstly. If it can't be yourself first, there has to be someone that you're mirroring, and you see the mirror, kind of, you're thinking of that person all the time. And I think my dad was actually probably one of those people. Didn't really spend much time with him when I was a netballer, but I think the way I was brought up was really enough to take it on to the next phase of being a netballer when I was obviously 16 and above. But yeah, I think it definitely has to do with that, and I have to say credit to my mom. That lady will give you a hiding. Like, you would have to think twice of what you say, what you're doing, because she didn't hesitate to, I'm gonna, just now. But anyway, I think I cannot take anything back. I wouldn't want it any other way. I want it exactly how it was. And that's purely because I could see how much it helped me as I was growing as a female coming from a township. Not taking anything away from Hammersdale. There's a lot of really superstars that comes out of our township, and not just ours. A lot of townships out there produces really, I guess, not just good athletes, but good humans. And I do take that pride in terms of, how I went through the journey, forgot about the challenges, took them both hands, and actually learned, how to move and how do I want to take them and use them to pave a better way, a better future for not just myself, but for others as well. So I'm really grateful for how I was brought up. I'm grateful for the fact that I can look back and be excited about, doesn't matter where you come from, there could always be hope. There could always be someone looking, at you and thinking this is future. And sometimes you don't even know that a person is looking. That's the exciting part. So carrying yourself in a certain way is quite important, because you never know, I guess, who's looking, and that person might be potentially the one who's going to guide you all the way. And I was blessed to really have not just one, but a couple of those people.
Sure. There's people that, a whole lot of girls, even current players, players that, or people, kids that aspire to be players, that look up to Bongi and would like to be a Bongi one day. If you could just paint a picture, maybe there's someone that is watching right now and they're like, yeah, I'm just having it difficult. Ubongi, maybe, like we say, this was planned for her, but you went through a whole lot. You said you had to work hard, So just paint a picture of what was life like even before netball, Just take us back there.
It's actually funny how we speak about this, and sometimes we say we listen to people giving us advices, but they're not really sure what they're talking about, because maybe they didn't go through the journey. If you do not want to listen to the people who actually walked through the path, then there's no one else who can give you the facts of what life is at a certain stage where I guess you didn't really have everything as you would wish. But I think my life was just a basic one. 8 of us at home as kids, with my mum and dad. Eventually, after a while, dad moved out and he lived with, I guess someone else. And we stayed home with mom. At this point, obviously sisters, brothers have all their kids as well. So we had quite a big family. People don't probably know much about that either. But yeah, I love my family a lot. I'm very much of a family person. I know netball took a lot of my time with traveling, but every time I got back, it's like a party, because, and I could get so hard down and get excited about everything. But yeah, I think me growing up, obviously there was a lot of us. I went to a primary school called Matolini City School. It's a walking distance from home. I also went to Lutai High School, and obviously started playing netball in grade 11. I was 16 years old. And before that, home was very much of a traditional family. Like you said, my dad was a community leader, and he had a Zulu dance group. So with that, every now and then his family would go and do sing along and clap hands obviously for the group, and he was leading in front. And I remember myself being at school, in primary school specifically, I used to be part of the Zulu dance group. We did all of that. It's just part of what we do. Even at home, like now, when I come back, we still, get along, we do Zulu dance, and very much of a person who enjoys cultural stuff. And I think that's, again, based on how I was brought up. But that was just a journey of Bongi being young and being around, I guess, a big family. Food was what was in front of us, and I always laugh about seeing things like desserts for like, when did we even think there was a dessert? What was that? And that's part of the things that I would say. Netball actually did so much, I guess, for myself personally. Like, there's a lot of things that now I see them and I think, oh, it's just another thing.
Yes.
But back then it wasn't just another thing. And this just shows that, how much that in your space, in your confined space, you will think you know everything and you will think you are set, you are happy, and everything revolves around what you see in front of you. And that is not true. Like the more you come out of that space, there's so much that you learn. There's so much that you see, so much that you never thought was even there. That you can actually, start praising and start admiring. What I like about my journey though is that although netball has created a space where I understand and learn all these things and experience all of them, and including even traveling internationally on my own, I never forget where I come from. And that's because I'm very set on who I am, very set on, what put me in the position where I am today. Why am I doing what I do until today? Why did I do it before? I think those whys constantly just gives me, the hope. It gives me the drive. It gives me, I guess the passion of you constantly have to do this because it happened with you. It's how far you've gone. And can you then give it, for, I guess, to others, which is what I try to do every single day. Not perfect, obviously no one is, but I always really think back to say, even if I change one or two people's lives, it's purely based on someone out there changed mine. So can I do it for others? I have to say thank you. And I probably need to still say this a lot more to netball. Netball is just an amateur sport. A lot of people don't know much about it. And I'll have to say credits to Netball South Africa because a lot of things are actually, I guess, improving. We still have ambitions and you can actually see the direction. But even from before all of those, really the sport itself probably can be quite undermined. But where it actually takes you as a person, what the opportunities it opens up for you as a person, I think it's something that's remarkable, something that I cannot match with anything. So the sport itself for me, I have to say it definitely is my life and it's purely going to be life for a lot of girls and boys out there.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's where I'd like us to take this conversation. Opportunities within sports. There's a whole lot of parents that just still see sports as a waste of time or as a hobby. Or hey, netball is still not professional. You're not going to bring in money at home, so you need to get a job.
Yeah.
But is it true that you didn't know English? And netball also just kind of helped you with that. Please. Because that's just going on, which Bongi didn't know English until netball.
That's actually funny. But anyway, I think I obviously went to Lutai High School, and if I can be frank, and a lot of people who went to the school will actually understand what I mean, and probably not the school, the schools that are similar to my school will know that at school you probably... and I still remember even the English teacher will actually explain certain things in Zulu.
Yeah.
So there was no way where you were forced to speak English at school, So, netball started very late in my, I guess, life journey.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it wasn't a shock so much, but I was obviously shy. I was like, was never this Bongi. Okay. So now having to come out of school and you have to go to training session. And when you get to the team, completely diverse, a lot of, I guess, different cultures whatsoever, you have to speak in English. That, for me, was probably one of the things that if I would have to drop out from sports, was probably going to be one of the reasons. Because imagine if you're shy and you actually, you don't really speak English, like, at no point, not at home, no ways, like, not even at home, I wouldn't. Then I go to school, I still speak Zulu all the way. And then eventually I get to be part of netball. And part of me being in netball, I actually really obviously put so much effort and the drive and everything into making sure that I'm better in everything that I do. And that, I think, puts me in a position a few times of being a leader. At an early stage. Now I'm a leader already, I think, at under 21s. I went to under 21s, Cook Islands as a captain. I have to do interviews. I can't even remember what I was saying there. I'm like, God, please don't have those scripts because what did the girl say? But I think, and this is where I go back and say, netball has done so much for me. Like, it's insane to even sit here and start to put it into a small package. Because now I had to go, I guess, different teams getting selected for province back in KZN, selected for the squad under 21s national, even going to play overseas for different clubs where people speak in different accents and you actually trying to hear what they're saying. Sometimes they're laughing already and you're quite delayed. You didn't even get what they were saying. And this is actually the stuff that happened to me. Like, all of that being said, the experiences, that you get with, firstly, not even going abroad, but the people that you meet at a court. There's now there's diverse people. You have to be your teammates. And at first you start with, I'm not going to talk here. Like, I don't want to be judged. I don't want them to know that I can't really speak English. And then second time you start seeing yourself, wanting to greet. Then someone starts getting close to you, being a friend. Eventually you start gaining the confidence based on the skills, on-court skills. And then off-court, you start learning that actually just talking to people is also part of sport. Yeah. Just laughing, just enjoying being around other people's space, but also enjoying that our country is so diverse. You learn that as you go, but it's really a massive thing that I guess changed my life. But yeah, English is something that we picked up along the way. Literally, if I could, I would go like English classes so I can first check everything. Then I didn't have to sit in and pretend as if I'm sick. I wasn't sick. I literally didn't want to speak because I thought people were going to laugh.
Man.
I'm saying this because I'm pretty sure a lot of girls
it's a reality.
And boys out there probably get into said positions or situations, and some of them might even drop out.
Yeah.
So you think, I want to feel like I'm part of this group. But the fact that I can't even communicate proper, am I even enjoying being here? And why am I even being here? But I guess the persistence, the perseverance, the belief, the trust that something is going to come out, but also trusting your skills on court helps you to have the confidence of other things as well, which I think eventually I was just like, I don't care if people are judging how I speak.
Yeah.
I just care about the sport and I so much. Like the chance that I get to go and play, that was the most, I guess, something that drove me to forget about other challenges.
Yeah. Fast forward a little bit, under 21s, you're named the captain of the team. Like,
imagine who does that? Why?
Is that what you said to yourself?
You're like, now, I don't even know. I can't even remember the reaction, honestly. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's also something that I look back and I think to myself, such an honor. Because imagine if you can't play the sport and you don't even think you are capable enough, you don't even trust yourself, you don't even believe you should be here. And then eventually you are captain. Then it purely means at such a young age, I was already a driven person. I was already a passionate person, like showing signs of I can lead, which I think maybe I did inherit some of it from my dad. So thank having dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. But yeah, I think it's also, it just speaks to, and I'm thinking of this, it's been a couple of years where I was captain of under 21s. It takes me back to, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from, your circumstances, your background or whatsoever. What is yours, what means to be yours will be yours. And how you carry yourself will always lead you to certain positions. And I think that's purely what I did without me paying attention. And I find myself in these positions. But yeah, really just credit to God. The guy upstairs works overtime.
He does, Shermy.
That guy doesn't sleep. He does not sleep. But I sit here with so much pride because I think to myself, what the hell? Like, what the hell? Yeah, he's really been good. He's
man. And let's talk you now going or being named in the senior side. That your senior call-up was 2011.
Yeah.
And how was that? And your first trip was Singapore.
Yeah. I think I was part of the test series. I think it was in 2010, but I didn't really play. So this is when they would choose like 50 players. But then in 2011, I went to trial. I think there was one player who didn't come to, I don't know if they couldn't come to camp or whatever. Then I joined in as a 15 player where the final selection was going to happen for the World Cup in 2011. Did I not just go there as a fill-in player, 15th, to straight making the 12th? And then I think to myself, as a player growing up, obviously based on my body structure, my physique, my height, I would always think of, I wonder if I will be good enough to be a national player. But it wasn't in my head so much because at that time, it's not like I was really just looking to play at such a level. I was scared. I went to camp and I wanted nothing to do with talking to anyone. I really respected the seniors that were there. I could barely take photos. Those who know me would actually say I would barely be part of the giggles and not. So imagine then having to get to the situation where now you're at trials, you came, you're part of the 15th. I can't remember how I played. And all I was thinking is, can these trials finish? Because obviously you can't be called to trials and you don't take part. So in my head, it was just to, I'm here, okay? It's going to be done and I'm going to go home. The next thing, get to the room, team is announced, Bongi 12. I was just like, what? I was actually really freaking out.
Yeah.
I think I've never, even if I think in a couple of years, because every year, obviously we know the squad gets announced and then the team goes to trials. It never felt like it felt in 2011. Although until 2023, and I'll say this with pride, I still got goosebumps when my name was called.
Are you serious?
I still screamed and I was just like, because I've never taken it for granted. I've always thought this is massive. If you think of how many girls and boys out there want to represent their country and they don't just get that. And then out of all of them, they call 12 players. Amongst the 12, they call Bongi. That for me has always been, over the years, something that is massive. It was way bigger than even getting a contract to go and play overseas. Because this is my country that I'll be representing, and going overseas, I'll be representing probably myself. Even if my country, kind of in the back foot. But you think I've got a green and gold, I've got the badge. And as I grew, it meant so much. It made sense. So I think 2011 was just, it was a start of everything, if I think about it. And those nerves and, coming out of that room, tears in my eyes. And sometimes you get told, don't tell anyone.
No.
And now I have to sit with such good news. I'm like, is it good news? Is it big news? Didn't have to tell anyone at that time. And I remember probably the first person who knew was my first ever netball coach, my high school teacher. And when he said that, he said, you worked hard, good. So in my head until today, I get drilled with the idea of, if you do work hard, eventually you get rewards, because that was his words. It's like, if you work hard, what you go and do in front of people is a reward. So I hope, I guess, from that journey, like, kids can also take that idea to think, like I said, it doesn't matter who you are. You put in the work, eventually you get rewarded.
Yeah, sure. Your first match.
Yeah.
You wear this dress and you walk on court. What's going through your head at that moment?
I can tell you now, though it was far back, I remember even not thinking of, do I even know the warm-up routine? Because I'm just scared of the gear. Until I went to Singapore. Singapore. It was in Singapore. Until we traveled overseas. Obviously, the whole journey, I'm pretty sure, was as quiet as I could be. Probably will say 1 or 2 words from whoever that says something. But getting to a point where we're now playing, like, as the years went by, like, I could feel, the seeds of the prideness in me. I've got national kit on, all of that. But at that time, honestly, I was just scared. I was just scared. And to think about it, as scared as I was, I think I remember same World Cup 2011, we played, I don't know if it was Botswana, but I got player of the match. And in my head, I was like, I'm still thinking, I didn't even realize it was that big. That was big.
Yeah,
the girl got player of the match. I'm like,
Imagine.
what? But it's all the stuff that you look back and you think, some of these things, you just know that it's not a given. And when it happens, sometimes you firstly you get a shock of your life, because you never thought it was going to happen. And I'm glad I felt like that, because that feeling, I think it gave me an idea of how big representing your country is, and it was back then, and it will always be, even after I've retired. So it was such a great journey. And thanks to Coach Elise at that time, I think I can still remember she called me Tiger, because she thought I could run everywhere. And all that. And in my head, I'm like, I can't even remember running, that much, but I'm pretty sure she obviously knew what she was doing. So it's all the people that you will say, you look back and you think, they were there when you actually needed someone to guide you.
Fast forward 2016.
Yeah.
You're then named the captain of the Spa Proteas. The seniors, not the babies anymore. Bongi. Like, and you're the first black captain, right? Or was there a black captain before?
I think Zanele and them.
Zanele, yes. Okay. Yeah, but
yeah,
you're right. But you're then named 2016 the captain of the Spa Proteas. Just a girl from Hammersdale who, at the age of 16, started,
before you even finished.
Ah, man.
I said no. Not me. Why me? Why me? There's so many players.
Did you say that?
Yeah. No, like panicking.
Internal.
The hell out of me. I was like, no ways. And I still remember that happened because Mareka, who was our captain, love her to the team, and I have so much respect for her. I think she was really a fantastic captain. And I'm glad when I had to be, when I was named the captain, it was after I was assistant or I was vice captain for her. Because I learned so much from that girl, as humble as she is. She didn't say, verbally, she wouldn't say much, but, her ways of doing things, the approach was just fantastic, was something that I think I can actually probably say I've learned so much from her. But anyway, she got an injury in 2016. And I remember now there has to be a captain for Spar Proteas. Did I not even picture me being there? Like I was thinking I was just, vice captain. So they need to find someone. In my head, I think they must find someone. Eventually, I got a call. I can't remember if it was from Christine. But she says, I've got good news, big news. You're going to be the captain for the Spar Proteas. And I said, no. I said, no, there's senior players in the team. Like, look to someone else. Like, no. And she said, Bongi, I'm not asking you. It was Christine, I think. I'm telling you, you will be. And after a while, I think Mimi, Teto also told me that this is going to happen. Eventually, I thought to myself, what the hell? This isn't, we can take the time, but this is going to happen. So you also know that, like, I really have so much respect for people, and adults are adults. So I knew as soon as I was told that you don't have a say, that I didn't have a say. So how do I absorb this the whole week and, think about it? It's not like I didn't have the week. It's like they just left me alone, and then they're going to come back and tell me, oh, I felt it. So eventually, everything started. I can still remember first a couple of days we were at camp, me trying to, realize that there's no Mareka now. When you're a vice captain, you can have anything on top of your shoulders that allow you to take it back. So you just watch. Now, I was Bongi, like, do the things, girl. And I'm like, okay, so we'll see how we go. But I always thought to myself, I don't have to be anyone. So I didn't have to change who I was at the time. Like I could always just be myself, have respect for the girls that I work with, have respect for the coaches, for the federation itself, but also respect for myself, how I walk out of here, as long as I just do things with the intention of the goodness, not of myself, but of the group that I work with, of everyone that's actually just loved this sport and we love so much. And from that day, I can tell you now, it never felt it won't be easy to beat against the national team, but I've never felt it so much at ease, knowing that firstly, I have to learn to accept that maybe they see a potential, maybe there is something in me that they think actually can help to take the team against somewhere I can lead, all of that. But also just realizing that I'm capable probably of more than what I think I am. Believing in that based on certain circumstances is quite hard. Sometimes you say you do believe it and you're actually just lying. They're saying because you want people to think you are. As the years went by, I actually started to believe it. And when I did, it never felt so nice to know that at a stage where I was with a lot of really achievements and good things happening. Obviously, bad things happen. They have to happen if you play for your country, you represent your country. But I've always really highlighted the fact that I have so much opportunities, so many good stories to tell, so many good things happening to me. How do I then pass it on?
Yeah.
How do I then make sure that the group I work with actually feels the same, or they get more or less the same opportunities? And up to today, I can sit here with so much pride to say, with everything I could, I honestly did everything I can to make sure that it's not just about me. It's about the federation itself. It's about the players that put in so much work. I don't think people give credits a lot to netballers just because it's netball. And for me, then it was can you, with your position, pave a way to make things better for these girls who work hard, probably don't really get credits, but make them actually feel better as the years goes by. And I can tell you now where they are now, I honestly think, and it's not just me, it's probably a whole lot of leaders who I came after, a whole lot of girls and boys probably that I met along the way who wants, I guess, what space for our country and netball. But really, I've done it all, and it's not done because I'm still coming on. I still want to give back to the sports, and I'll continue doing that. So, yeah, campaign part. We took it on until obviously I retired.
Yeah.
To constantly then be named captain until 2023. I told you this and I'm going to say it again. The guy above me, the guy is just, he does so much for me. He doesn't sleep.
He doesn't
He
sleep.
does not sleep. I can tell you that with pride. He doesn't sleep.
Mm. When do you then get that call that there's an opportunity overseas?
Yeah. That was actually a funny one. In 2015, on my Facebook, Tamsin Greenwood was one of the England players. And she was a player coach at the time. She sent me an inbox on Facebook and she says, hi, Bongi. Tamsin, she explained who she was. And then she says, I watched a couple of your games, Commonwealth Games in 2014 specifically. And she says, I want you to come and play for our club, Surrey Storm in England. Okay. And the silly Bongi, 2014-15, imagine. I did not look at that thing for a month. I think I was in Hammersdale. Then at some point, I told my coach, my teacher, Tisha, there's this lady, if I remember correctly, because I think someone has gotten a contract. And it rang in my head that I think I got a message, contract, whatever. But I never paid attention to who plays where, who are the players, whatsoever. Nothing. Focused on, I'm training myself. If I go to trials and make a team, yes. Anyway, so as I was sitting, my coach, he's like, where's that message? And I said, it's on my phone, I think, but it was long ago. Then I'm busy paging. The next thing, there's a message. And he's like, listen, you need to actually tonight go back to this lady today, make sure that you speak to her and you show interest. Now I'm like, maybe this is something big. Can we carry on training, get home, and I look who Tamsin is. Now, this Tamsin is actually, like someone big. Okay. Hi, Tamsin, this is me typing on my Facebook. I saw your message. I'm sorry to respond so late. I'm keen to come up. She was so excited. She's like, oh, yeah, I know it's a bit late. It was already, I think, in season, within the 2015 now. But I think I was meant to go in March. She was probably around Jan. And she said they'll arrange everything. The next thing, I got a call from a manager. They now need to start processing visas, all of that. Okay. Eventually, there I find myself going overseas. I know, but now I was scared. Now I was not saying, at that time, I didn't even go to Durban that much alone. I didn't know where what was. Now you're telling me I must go to airport, massive airports alone. Like that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we did all of that. And that's the stuff I talk about now, work with the kids now to say, you don't understand how much experience you get through the sport that is seen as amateur in our country. That experience actually made me realize that netball is not just netball. It's actually it teaches you so much more than just catching the ball and passing. That's the easiest. So when overseas played that season and we won the damn league, 2015, Surrey Storm won the league with Bongi. They didn't even know how to get to the airport, but on their own, all of that, and nobody knew about it. People don't really care about those stories that are undercover, the life challenges, all that. They care about the limelight, the best part of it. And as soon as you start winning the league, everyone was like, Bongi. Okay, so now there's Bongi. Yeah, no. Hey, there was Bongi. Funny enough, got to the airport, if I can, in brief, didn't even know where to go. Who do I speak to? This phone doesn't have Wi-Fi. It doesn't work. I won't tell you that. Let's leave that for the next day. But yeah, the journey of 2016 overseas, it started opening doors. The next thing I found myself at West in 2017, 2018, Adelaide Thunderbirds in Australia, which is actually the highest league in the world. If you said I want to play there. 2019, went back to Wasps. Fantastic. Like I had, really, I can't complain. Like I told you, and I'm going to say this again, so he keeps doing his things. This guy works overtime for Bongi. He does not sleep. He does not sleep.
So you got to experience some professional netball.
Yeah.
And obviously the lessons you got from them, they really upped your game. Coming back home and now representing your country as well. How different was your game when you came back home after getting that experience?
Let's leave the game first and talk about, now you sign your contracts. Now monthly money is coming. And you are actually paid for playing the sport that you just thought, I just love netball. Literally, it made me have to budget. How much money goes to what? How much money goes to my mom at home? Because obviously I left mom and family, and I need them to understand that now I'm playing netball.
Yes, and I'm
getting paid, So I think that also was part of the a journey who Bongi was and where Bongi actually ended up going. And at that time, when everything was going well, could you think of the people, back home? I think it's so easy to get caught into where you are and then forget everything. And I always had the fear of never forget where you come from.
Sure.
And even if I went back home with 1,000 rands, you should have seen my mom's face. And that always made me actually want to do more of, I want to train more, I want to play well, because I know if I get 1,000 rands, my mom's going to be happy. She's going to think I'm this big thing. And I think that ended up being, I guess, a created kind of a culture of, even if I get a cent, some of it has to go to savings, some of it has to go to my mom, some of it, even now I live a life of being kind of a granny. Some people can enjoy their money and I'm busy thinking, no, this must go savings, this must go. And this just because of, I guess, how netball taught me to manage myself, to think, to budget, to not just to play the sport itself. And that's why I say netball basically is life for me. So I guess when I then played overseas and then came home, the confidence of knowing that when I play overseas, I play against, I guess, players who play for their national teams as well, really good players, to be challenged so much, to train in an environment where this is business now. Netball is business here. It's not just a game where results are expected. The confidence that you grow from there and coming here, in my head, I remember just thinking, even if someone has to hit me on courts and swear or say all naughty things, I'm ready for it. It prepared me for such. Mentally, physically, I thought I was just always ready. And I just love this sport even more, knowing that there's so many opportunities that are, out there apart from just playing. And it's something that I always thought, if it happens to me, how I carry myself through all these experiences would actually pay way for others. And not just myself did that. I think a lot of the girls in our country who went overseas to play netball did that. They created such a platform where our players are trusted, where they can be given opportunities. And I think now we can just see or reap the rewards of that, which is quite exciting.
Yeah. Let's talk about the innovation of your game. How different, they saw something in you, obviously, and hence the call, to go overseas. But how did being overseas improve your game?
I think even, some of the tactical plays, like sometimes if you come from a location, I think when you start playing your netball, at some point, you're just running around, I'm filling in the gap, I get the ball, whatsoever. Yes. But, the structures to understand, why should this one be there? I think it opened up my eyes a lot more. We did a lot of analysis. So compared to just playing, I will sit and analyze, and probably sometimes not with the coaches themselves, us as players. So based on your position, mid-court will sit together and we're all analyzing the opposition and, what we did well, what we could have done better, all of that. And that for me also is, I'll actually say, it instilled even the hype or the love for coaching. Because that's where I started seeing the game differently compared to, sometimes I would just look at the game before and see myself, I'm just watching me, what am I doing? Compared to, can you see what the opposition is doing? Can you see what they like? What can you do, to encounter that when you play against them? So I think that's the stuff that I would say I've learned more overseas, because there was a lot of time. You go there for like 6, 7, 8, whatever months, and you're constantly just doing netball. It gives you a lot of time to train, to mentally prepare. There's physios, there's psychologists, there's everything that you can get in touch with to grow yourself as an athlete, and not just to play on court. And then the part of where you can you see the game yourself? Can you see what we did wrong? Giving inputs. Don't just sit there and be a puzzle as a player. Can you also move this bus, all moving it together? I think all of that I've learned overseas. Then I could feel a sense of, even when I'm on court, I could understand what I did wrong myself, where I could have been better. There's certain things that my eyes opened up straight away compared to I was just playing before then.
Yeah. Let's go to now. I just want to
wonder.
No. So you're captain. I just want to take it to when you had is it called pep talk with your team? The first time you're trying to now encourage the team that we got this, we need to start pushing, because you were not so confident, right? How did that go? What did you say? Do you even remember what you said?
Hey, Shem, I'm so sorry in advance, guys. Like, if you're listening to this, I really am sorry, because I don't really know what I said.
Yeah.
But what I know for sure, and this is just me until today, I'm very much of a positive person. I do not see a loss. I don't see us losing until we lose. So I think more of the hyping the team or speaking to the team has always been about, you're good enough. Come on, step up. Come on, we're going to do this as a team. And I'm very much of a team person. Even if you are good or you're a great player in the team, I always wanted to pull along someone else. So it was always more about, we got to celebrate, I guess the little things. Someone does something good, don't just walk away, man. Just actually go see them, high five, whatever. So it actually makes them see that they've done something good for the team. They're going to carry on doing it. So I've always been like that. And I think even from probably before, I was really confident in leading. I would probably always pull that through to say, don't take yourself small. Doesn't matter who you come up against. And that was also probably because when I played for the Spar Proteas, we used to lose like a lot with like big margins against like Australians and New Zealand players and all that. And if I see it even now, it was always, to me, the positiveness came from the fact that we can't go any worse than where we are, but we could always improve. So the positiveness that I could always put in the team, I think, just aligned better with the fact that I had to lead anyway. And on courts, I think for me also, captaincy is really just about when we prepare, how much of you is in that preparation, or you just there, it's just training. Like if I'm at training, even now, I really get annoyed when I'm coaching, players that looks like they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I've always seen or carried myself like I want to be there. And it didn't matter what was happening in my life behind the scenes. I would show up, training. And this would be because I also want to, if I'm in combination, someone else is trying to be part of the team and they get put into a combination, I must make sure that this person can actually get a chance. And if you don't show up at a time to do your own job, then it makes it difficult for the other person to get a chance. So I always really think in depth of a lot of things, probably think too much even now. But yeah, I think it's such a great journey of taking yourself as nobody to now you're somebody. What you say, what you do, how you move, all of a sudden matters even more than what you thought. And not thinking too much about it and just moving along, I think helped. It helps.
Man.
The more you think too much, it's also hard, man. I don't know if they told you that, but it is hard.
No, I'm taking it from you.
Yeah.
Man, when you've also played in Commonwealth Games, World
How many
Cups,
of those? I think about the three Commonwealth Games.
yes, 4 World Cups.
4 World Cups, yeah. Yeah.
And
My legs felt this. Yes, jeez.
and your legs still show good Aisha.
Yeah, I only stopped in 2023. Did I do that to myself? Yeah. It was long.
What a journey it has been.
Yeah.
And 2019, I think that was the most successful World Cup
Definitely.
we've had. 2023, first on African soil.
Yeah.
And you were leading there again. Let's chat about how different it was, compared to these other World Cups.
Yeah.
You now have that support, also from the fans. It's a completely different vibe compared to the previous years or World Cups you've played.
I think, and I'll honestly say this, it felt completely different. I also run a project back home. You probably know about this Bongi Msomi Legacy Project. And it's always really about giving back. And I coach players, probably a lot of players I've worked with who obviously see a lot of, watch a lot of netball, they follow it. And to go to Cape Town and see so many kids, firstly, that I've coached, or kids that I've actually seen and watched playing netball, but also knowing that it's in our home soil and the kids are getting to understand and feel the experience of what is a World Cup. It's different when you're watching it on TV and you're just saying, oh, it's a World Cup. When you're there, the vibe, everything is completely different. And I wouldn't speak of in terms of corporate and all that. Obviously, that's a massive part of it because a lot of corporates came on board for the Spar Proteas, for Netball South Africa, which changed so many things, I guess, for netball in our country in a beautiful way. But to actually give hope to so many young girls and boys, seeing physically and being part of the experience of the World Cup at home, can't take that for granted. And in saying this, I can't also forget that that was probably not a so good World Cup, but how we carried ourselves. Everybody actually could relate to we do represent our country with pride, but we also do everything that we do. And we used to say, it's for God, for the country, for the team. There's GCT. We carried ourselves like that throughout the World Cup. And I'll always be proud of that. And that's when, funny enough, I thought before the World Cup, I'm going to retire in 2023. I knew that. And it was meant to be World Cup. Planned everything. Got to World Cup, plans changed. I needed to, couple of months, carry on. In England, when I actually retired, we thought this is probably the best time where a lot of young girls came throughout the World Cup time, training time, and I would see them coming to camp. And until today, I can remember myself obviously wanting to be filling in and, giving them space, teaching them as much as I could, all of that. Come England time, I thought there it was such a great tournament, and eye-opener, even more of a putting a stamp to say, we are ready to take on the next phase. Never been so proud. And proud more because I remember at some point myself, I can't remember Pumzao, but some of the majority of the seniors set out, some of the juniors played. I felt like a mom, you feel like you're a mom watching your kids, I was just like, even if it doesn't work at some point, obviously there's always growth as you go, but I think we're in a good position. Then I knew that I could back off. And backing off at a time when we've hosted a World Cup. I didn't have to play part, obviously, in hosting a World Cup. Credit to Netball South Africa and sports and recreation, so that whoever that was involved. But really, to really be part of that was just insane. It was just insane. It was also my fourth World Cup. So I was just like I upstairs, yes.
Fourth World Cup.
Fourth. 171 caps.
171 caps. Can you believe it, though? That's a lot of matches.
I must maybe say thanks to these knees and ankles because...
Did you not ensure that?
We've seen a lot of girls and boys getting injured through netball.
Yes.
And touch with, I never really had to worry about that. And again, let me not say it. Let me not say it.
Bongi. And then, Roc Nation. Like, it's very few people.
And
And then there's Bongi.
Who does she think she is?
Like this girl.
Who's this? You make me think of back when we spoke about how did I get to England. Roc Nation says an email client, Bongi, Roc Nation, I don't really know who Roc Nation is.
Okay.
And this was 2019 or 2020,
2019.
somewhere there. Anyway, I did not respond to them. Took my time, and I'm pretty sure they would laugh if they were to listen to this.
Yeah.
And after a while, again, there's an email. Bongi, it's Isaac. I think there was Isaac at that time. Was emailing, we need you to be part of us. We want to look after you. And there was like really nice messaging going on. I was like, I don't know. And I've been so, I'll say good. Some people say it's bad. I've been so good with, I'm just content with where I am. I'm just happy with, the rates I'm going. I've never been a person who just want bang. I want things to go well. I want someone to represent me. I want sponsors. I've never really looked for that. I looked for how best can I be on and off the court for the sport, for myself, just enjoying it. So now that you coming to me at a point where I've played for my country a couple of years and I'm just thinking, I don't need your support. Like I've been doing it without you. And eventually, I remember one of the meetings I had with them, probably after a month, this guy said to me, you can take your time for as long as you want. When you're ready and you're ready to decide to join us, you actually should let us know because we will still be looking to look after you. Even after you play the sport, we want to be part of what you're doing. That day I took a pen and I was like, I'm going to sign this thing. Because now they're telling me they're not rushing me. And I remember myself thinking, when this guy was carried on pushing, sending emails, I was like, okay, now I'm getting irritated because I don't need anyone to look after me. I'm just like just want to play netball. There's no money in netball. If you're an agent, what am I going to give you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have anything. And I feel like you're just going to come and see that I'm actually broke, but I'll present my country. So please go away. And at a point where he said, even if it's after 2, 3, 4 years, we will still be nagging. Then I was like, okay, maybe it's something bigger. Like it's not for now. So I remember allowing us to sit in. We had a nice chat. They actually relayed to me what they want, how they would look after me, what they want, how the working relationship would look like. And obviously at that time I was already matured and I could understand exactly what I want myself. So yeah, I think I can proudly say such a blessing. They are a group that another family. They are part of my family. Everything that I think I want to do for a project, for work, I've always had support from them. And Michael is actually more the one who talk a lot, obviously, with there's quite a lot of guys, Mahlatsi, and that we work with. But I think I've been so overwhelmed with external or people from outside really giving you so much support and love that every now and then I keep thinking maybe I don't really deserve. And there are people like that. And this is what I want to share with the artists out there. You never know, like you would never know who's looking. You never know how much opportunities are out there. So whatever that you do it for that sake. That if anything comes, are you ready, to take it on board? So blessed, and I'm glad actually I said yes today. I almost didn't.
Yeah. 2019, you start coaching UJ.
Yeah.
And yeah, it started off
shaky.
Yeah.
Say it. What was
it
that?
started off shaky, and the expectations are, we know, automatically,
Yeah.
there's expectations because of
Definitely.
who you are, as a player. So you need to pass on those skills onto the players. Few years, it's tricky, but 2023, things start looking up because then you take the team to finals.
Yeah.
But let's chat 2024. How brilliant has 2024 been or was, looking at you as a coach?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I think coaching for me has been something that I've loved doing from ever since I was a national player. I always come back home and I'm trying to teach someone something that I saw, and that's because in Hammerstein we didn't have much luxury in terms of equipment and all of that. So try to show them the advanced stuff that we did at camp. So that I think instilled the part of I want to give back, I want to coach. And as the journey went, obviously coaching was just undercover because I was playing.
Yes.
So it's something that I've been doing over the years. Then I got a job at UJ as a netball manager and coach, and I was still offered an offer to go, a contract to go play overseas in England. I said no to that because I thought it's 2019 and I'm already planning on my retirement. And at that time I was quite strict with what I want and if I ever have to retire, what Bongi look like. So I said no to the contract and I took the offer at UJ. It was towards the end of 2019. 2020 we had COVID, thank God, because I don't even know if I was ready to coach at UJ at that time. And when I was announced, a lot of people obviously were looking at Bongi and said, hey, because nobody really knew me as a coach. So I knew I was coaching behind the scenes. So anyway, when I was announced, there was a lot of negativity around the position is just big. It's too big because she's just a player. She's not a coach. And there was a lot of positivity around she's a captain of the country. Now she's going to coach at UJ. UJ Netball is going to be, in a good position. All of that obviously puts pressure because you firstly have to deal with the negatives. Yeah. And you have to deal with now the positive people that you cannot embarrass. But I can say now, I almost lived all my netball life for being in between. And one thing I've learned through it all is that it's up to you to take on the negatives and, build through that and see what you do with it. You gain a lot more from the negative compared to the people who are telling you you're good, who are this, praising you. You get so much less from those. So I had the drive of going to UJ and doing so much good work and putting my all because I knew that the ones that think I can't, I'm going to actually make them take that back because I really think I can. And I think I can in something that I wasn't comfortable so much in, which is coaching, because I was a player at that time. And when I got to UJ, we actually had like 14 players in total. No club, like obviously we have an open club now. There was no club, there was really not much structures in place, but there was so much support. UJ until today supports me to the T. The plans I have for netball, all of that, and it actually helps. And I want to say this because that's where the results comes from. Like you can have all the ideas and all of that. If the support is not there, then it becomes hard to produce the results. And UJ really backs me. So anyway, then I got there and I thought probably the first thing that is wrong is we cannot have a development structure, which is who is under 17 that we're looking after. So if the seniors go, we can have a feeder. So I thought, okay, we need to have an open club. Starting that, it was more like a beginning. I think we had like 50 members that wanted to join us in our open club. Eventually, I think end of the year last year, we had about 280 members, which is something that is really massive. And I think it's a big win for us because we're now constantly doing something big for, I guess, Johannesburg, but not just Johannesburg. We're producing national players. There's national players who are going to be playing today, against Jamaica, and physically, I would say, with all the other coaches they've worked with, but I coach them, which is quite exciting. But all of that, again, comes from the idea of how Bongi came up as a player. I didn't get everything handed over and worked hard. And when I went to UJ and I realized, oh my gosh, there's almost nothing, I thought to myself, okay, here we go again, starting my journey as a player. Now we're starting as a coach. And I told them, don't expect a win in a year, to give it time. If it will come when the time is right, we first need to select and have players that can actually match a certain standard of players in other universities. That's what we need to get right. And when we did get players to come in, obviously it was just UJ. Players didn't want to go there. They wanted to go to universities that are really big in netball. So my idea was, give me these 2 years, need to coach the players that I have. From coaching them, if they can match the standard, we're going to start winning. And winning is a culture. It's something that we created. We actually have so many things to do behind the scenes. And I think now I coach a group of players that understands how to win, that wants to win, that trains to win, prepares to win. So I think that's why slowly we became, I guess, a UJ that is probably finals majority of the time, which is a blessing. But last year was just insane. We played, I think, 2 finals, USA and VC. Silver for both, which I hated. December, went to national champs with the under 21 JNA, and we got gold. I was like, I'm done with the silver thing. Coach Bongi's done with the silver thing now.
You're now gold.
She's going to move to gold. I think that was probably the best thing ever. And for me, I've lost so many times as a player. I've won a couple of times as a player. But to actually come here and be a coach and give hope to these young girls to say you can actually wear a gold medal. It doesn't matter at what level. I think that drives me to, I want to coach. I just want to coach, and I'll continue doing that. And the funny part is, last year again, my projects, the girls we look after in Hammersdale, we have Hammersdale Sunbeams, which is a club that we created, and my project looks after this club. Won again gold in a Super League final in KZN, playing against one of the best players, which is just a fantastic story to tell. 2024 was just in the same. So there's a lot I could talk about, and geez, it still just, proves that netball as a sport is not just sport. And if someone takes it lightly, that they probably do want to change, because there's so much that we do apart from being in the limelight through the sport we love, and it's creating so many leaders out there, and that's what one could actually be proud of.
And you're still continuing with developing yourself as well.
Definitely.
And you also got that opportunity of being a part of the Super Sport Gibbs program. How was that? Because you were with prominent people in your class. Prominent, babes.
How does Bongi constantly find herself in position where she's like, is this the right seat?
And the right time, right place.
Is this the right table? My gosh. I got so super excited when I got this opportunity. I remember Graham from Super Sports phoned me, because so much respect for him. And he said, there's this opportunity and I want you to be part of it. There'll be an industry leaders program 2.0. They had 1.0 the previous years, and this was 2.0. And there you just get taught, everything to do with leading, if I can put it like that, but strategically, not just playing. Office stuff, what's your plans long-term, short-term plans, and how you're going to go about to execute them. Finances, how do you make sure that the sport become professional? Sports can actually make money for itself. It can be profitable. So a lot of things that we learned, and I remember day one getting there, I was like, maybe this is the wrong place. The faces I saw there, everyone dressed so classy. I'm just like, okay, there we go again. I must sit at the back here or what? But geez, I'm so grateful. I actually was part of that program. It has taught me so much more than I ever needed. 2024, after retirement, and 2023, to go straight to that program. I honestly feel like I'm way more equipped than I thought I was when I was just a player, and the things that I've learned. Now that I've served a year and I was part of that program, I feel so ready. I also dedicated 2024 to myself in terms of health, in terms of school. I registered at UJ, I'm studying, and I thought I'm going to slowly, equip myself, putting myself into positions in terms of coaching, because I didn't really want to rush anything. And I think it all played out how I thought. So this year is more like a Bongi really just moving along because we've already put steps in place, which is just a fantastic, time to be alive. I'm really grateful, honestly.
You epitomize opportunities in sport.
Definitely.
So
Opportunists. In a good way.
In a good way. Just a word of advice, to the parents that just still think, sports is a waste of time. There's so many opportunities within it. But also to the kids that would like to be players, but they are just demotivated because there's a lack of resources and opportunities. Please look into that camera and just chat to them about the possibilities and opportunities in sports.
I think probably the first thing would be to say, it doesn't even matter if there could be a guest speaker from overseas, to make you understand that if you understand what you want and you work hard for it and you stay focused, it doesn't matter the challenges. You just focus on what you want to achieve. Keep working hard. You will eventually get it right. Nobody can explain that in any way better. And that there is no other tricky thing that you can do. It's absolutely that. And I'm saying this because we had nothing. And I could remember one of the moms came to under 21's trials, gave me a pair of shoes because my shoes were torn. I could strap them with the strapping. I'll put the strapping around to cover that they torn. Gave me the shoes. It was Vanessa's mom, actually. And that day actually made me realize that someone out there sits and watches you. So if you put in the work, someone will always be watching to support you. I sit in a position where now I'm the one who gives players an opportunity. And it's because of the work I have through netball. And netball that didn't have to pay me money at that time, but it gave me now a job, an opportunity to actually be able to look after myself, but also look after others. So you never know who's watching. You never know how much, of a journey you will have, how much harder, how much easier it might be. But the eye should always be focusing on what you want. Don't take your eye off the mark. It's actually what sets the tone of where you're going to finish. And we are absolutely here to help whoever that we see actually has a passion and a drive for what they want to achieve.
Sure. She spoke like a coach. Bongi, thank you so much.
Thank you
for making the time. I really appreciate it. Continue being the inspiration and role model that you are. May God continue to favor you. Because you're not selfish, about what you have and the skills that you have. You continue to give back.
Thank you.
uNkulunkulu akakwandisele. Right. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll do it again next time.